which means, by the way, that I will be a president that actually believes in the Constitution. And after a while, some people asked me if I'd be interested in running for a state senate seat that had opened up where I live. And I did what wise men do whenever confronted with an important decision. They pray on it, amen, and then they ask their wives. And after consulting those two higher powers, I did what every first-time candidate does, which is I passed out literature to anybody who would talk to me. I went to PTA meetings and barber shops and beauty shops, and everywhere I went I'd get the same two questions. First question, where did you get this funny name Barack Obama? Although people would mispronounce it, and they would call me Alabama, or they would call me Yo Mama. And I would say, no, it's Obama. And my father was from Kenya, from Africa, which is where I got my name from. Okay, we got some Kenyans in the house. My mother was from Kansas, which is where I got my accent from. There was at least one Kansan back there. But the second question bears on this presidential race. Because people would say to me, you seem like a nice guy. You've got a wonderful law degree, you teach at a fine institution, you could be making a lot of money somewhere doing something else. Why would you want to go into something dirty and nasty like politics? Why go into politics? And we understand the question because at some level all of us have come to feel cynical about government and the political process. We feel as if politics has become a business and not a mission. We feel as if power, especially in Washington, is always trumping principle. We get a sense that our leadership is long on rhetoric but short on follow-through. And so over time we get discouraged. Half of us don't even vote. The half that do vote, half the time we're voting against somebody instead of voting for somebody. We hold our noses every 2 years or 4 years and vote for the lesser of two evils, but we don't have confidence the government is going to make a meaningful difference in our lives. At most, we hope the government does us no harm. And in the void where we stop getting engaged, and we stop believing in politics, and we stop believing in government, who fills the void? The lobbyists, and the special interests, and the narrow agendas that continually lead us down a path that is very good for the few, but not so good for the many. And it is that sense of discouragement that I had to directly address in my first race, and it's something that we still have to talk about today, because what I told people then is the same thing that I believe now, and that is that there has always been another tradition of politics. And there's been another tradition to government that has been noble, an idea that's based on a very simple premise. I talked about it in my 2004 convention speech. The idea that we're all connected as a people. The idea that we've got mutual responsibilities for each other. The notion that if there are children in Reno or Vegas or Sacramento or in Chicago that are poor, in poor schools, with poor prospects for the future, that has an impact on all of us. Even if our own children are doing all right, the notion that if there's a veteran somewhere here in Nevada, or there's a veteran in Illinois, or a veteran in Washington, D.C., that is foraging through dumpsters, looking for food because he didn't get the kind of services he needed when he got discharged after serving this country, and is now homeless, that diminishes all of our patriotism. Americans rightfully take pride in our individualism, in our self-reliance, but we also take pride in the idea of community, the idea that we're all in it together, that we're not in it on our own. And it is that notion, that idea, that has helped build this country. The idea that led previous generations to invest to allow us to prosper. And it's that idea that has been lost over the last 6 years. Because in Washington right now, the whole philosophy has been you are on your own. If you are somebody who's worked in a plant for 20 years and suddenly has the rug pulled out from under them, see, they're not only the loss of a job, but you've lost your pension, you've lost your health care, well, you know what? Tough luck. You're on your own. If you're a single mother who doesn't have health insurance even though you're working 2 jobs, and you have to take your child to the emergency room because you can't give them regular checkups, well, you know what? You're on your own. If you're a child who didn't have the wisdom to choose the right parents, so as a consequence you're born in a school that's underfunded and doesn't have new textbooks and doesn't have computers, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You're on your own. And it is that idea that people, I think, have come to realize is inadequate for the challenges that we face as a nation. America wants a new message. America wants a new spirit. America wants to turn the page on the selfish politics, on the small politics, on the timid politics, on the politics obsessed with who's in power and who's in not, and partisan bickering and ideological decision-making. They want a government that reflects the core decency of the American people. That's what they want. And that's what we are going to give them in this campaign. That is what they are going to get in 2008. That's the reason why people are turning out. I'd like to take all the credit myself. But the reason all of you are here is because you know we can do better than we're doing right now. You know that it's possible to turn the page and create the kind of healthcare system that serves every single American. It doesn't make sense for us to spend $2 trillion a year on healthcare and yet have some of the worst outcomes in the industrialized world. We shouldn't have 45 million uninsured. We shouldn't have children having to go to emergency rooms for treatable illnesses like asthma. And that's why this week I said that by the end of my first term as president, every single American will have available to them health care that is affordable, health care that can make sure that they are not worrying about bankruptcies, they aren't worrying about their kids getting sick. And we